Here are the top stories of the news. Federal government begins evacuation of willing Nigerians in Iran. And at least 3 dead, others injured in fresh bandit attack on Katsina community. On the foreign scene, Israel strikes a residential building in Lebanon, killing at least 19 people. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. I am Femi Ojo. The federal government has begun evacuating willing Nigerians in Iran, escorting them across the Armenian border to ensure their safety amid escalating tensions in the Middle East. The evacuation follows the growing crisis that began on February 28 after coordinated military strikes on Iran by the United States and Israel. The attacks triggered retaliatory missile and drone strikes across parts of the region, raising fears of a wider conflict. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Bike Dabiri Erewa, disclosed these in a post on her X handle on Tuesday. She said officials of the Nigerian embassy in Tehran are coordinating the evacuation. Nigerians who wish to leave the country and are facilitating their safe passage into Armenia. Dabiri were also reassured that no Nigerian in Iran has so far been affected by the ongoing tensions, and noting that embassy officials remain stationed at the border to receive and assist evacuees. The federal government has launched a new initiative to connect schools across Nigeria to reliable internet services, aiming to expand digital learning and integrate modern technologies, including artificial intelligence, into the country's education system. The initiative follows a directive by President Bola Tinubu to accelerate the expansion of national digital infrastructure and ensure that key sectors, particularly education, benefit from ongoing broadband and telecommunications investments. To draft the plan, the Minister of Education, Maruf Alausa, and the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, met in Abuja with key stakeholders to coordinate efforts between both ministries and the nationwide school connectivity program. According to a statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Ministry, Folashade Boriowo, on Wednesday, the discussion centered on developing a framework that will ensure internet access reaches institutions at all levels of the education system, from primary and secondary schools to universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. Lausa said the initiative builds on earlier efforts carried out through the Nigerian Research and Education Network, which had previously supported broadband connectivity for tertiary institutions under a World Bank-funded project. He explained that although the earlier program recorded progress in linking universities and other higher institutions, the pace slowed after the initial funding cycle ended, making it necessary to revive and expand the initiative to cover the entire education sector. An attack by bandits has reportedly resulted in the death of at least 3 people, leaving several others injured at Jikamshi town in the Musawa local government area of Katsina State. Musawa remains one of the bandit-dominated local government areas where the activities of the bandits are always on the increase despite the recent peace deal they entered into with the bandits. The attack, which was said to have begun at about 6:10 p.m. on Tuesday, lasted beyond an hour when some of the residents were on the verge of breaking their 21st Ramadan fast. It was learned that the armed bandits shot indiscriminately, a situation that left many residents in confusion as they scampered to safety. The Oyo State Commissioner of Police, Femi Haruna, has ordered a thorough investigation into the allegation of unprofessional conduct by operatives of the Jobeli Division in Afejo local government area of the state, which reportedly resulted in the protest witnessed earlier on Tuesday. A statement released by the State Police Public Relations Officer Olayinka Ayonlade in Ibadan, the state capital, said the Assistant Superintendent of Police, who led the patrol team involved, and the divisional police officer have been issued queries respectively, while the inspector concerned has been defaulted and detained pending the outcome of the investigation. Scores of protesters had early on Tuesday disrupted both the human and vehicular movement at Jubilee end of Ibadan Expressway in Afijio local government area of the state as a result of cases of kidnapping, banditry, and other vices. According to a report, the protest was due to the invasion of one of the communities in the area. However, a statement released by the PPRO on Tuesday said the Oyo State Police Command has ordered a thorough investigation into the allegation. President Bola Tinubu has asked the Senate to screen and confirm Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance to replace Darius Uzoka Nite. The president made the request through a letter read on the floor of the Senate by the Senate President, Senator Goswill Akpabio, during yesterday's plenary, following a 3-week recess for the budget defense exercise. The request was subsequently referred to the Committee of the Whole for further legislative consideration. President Tinubu also requested confirmation of Magnus Abe, chairman of the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, alongside 2 commissioner nominees. If confirmed by the Senate, Oyedele, who chair the President Tax Reforms Committee, will replace Darius Uzoka Anite as the Minister of State for Finance.
Permit me to read this. Request for confirmation of ministerial nominee. In compliance with the provisions of Section 1472 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I'm pleased to forward to the Senate for confirmation the nomination of Mr. Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. While I hope that this request will receive expeditious consideration of the Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Well, in line with our practice and as a result of the urgency, this is referred to the Committee of the Whole for future consideration.
Former Senate President Bukola Saraki has appealed to all leaders and stakeholders in the People's Democratic Party to resolve the ongoing litigations over the party's disputed national convention and focus on organizing a fresh one in line with electoral guidelines. Saraki made the appeal in a statement posted on his X handle and signed by the head of his media office, Yusuf Olaniyan. He was reacting to the Court of Appeal judgment that upheld earlier rulings invalidating the PDP National Convention held in Ibadan, Oyo State. In November 2025, the former Kwara State governor said the party must accept the verdict and move swiftly to organize a new national convention in line with the timetable of the Independent National Electoral Commission. He warned that continued litigation could jeopardize the chances of party members seeking to contest the 2027 elections on the PDP platform. He also called on aggrieved leaders within the party to set aside personal interest and focus on the collective future of the PDP. The Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the trial of a former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and his son, Abdulaziz, the alleged terrorism financing and illegal possession of firearms case until April 15 and 16. At the proceedings, counsel for the prosecution, Akinlulu Kehinde, informed the court that he had only recently been assigned to take over the case and needed time to consult with the witnesses. Counsel to the defendant, Shaibu Arua, did not oppose the request for an adjournment. In a brief ruling, Justice Abdul Malik granted the application and adjourned the case until April 15 and 16 for trial. The Department of State Services had earlier arraigned Malami and his son on a 5-count charge bordering on alleged terrorism financing and unlawful possession of firearms. However, on March 4, the DSS transferred the case file to the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation for prosecution when the matter was earlier scheduled for the commencement of trial. And now talking politics, the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, has welcomed the defection of Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal to the All Progressives Congress APC, describing the move as a historic moment for the state's political landscape. The statement posted on his verified X handle, Matawale said the development signals the beginning of a renewed effort to address the challenges confronting Zamfara, particularly insecurity, while advancing the renewed hope agenda of Bola Tinubu. He added that the state now requires collective commitment from political actors to tackle insecurity and promote development, noting that Governor Lawal has joined the progressive political family. The former governor described the development as a political reunion built on shared commitment to national progress. Governor Abba Yusuf has relieved the Kano State Head of Service, Abdullahi Musa, of his appointment with immediate effect as part of efforts to reposition the state civil service in this state. The development was announced in a statement issued on Tuesday evening by the governor's spokesperson, Sanusi Tufa. According to the statement, the decision forms part of the administration's ongoing reforms aimed at strengthening efficiency, discipline, and service delivery across government institutions in Kano State. The government also instructed the outgoing head of service to hand over the affairs of the office without delay. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We will be right back after this break. Please stay with us.